Hello friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Mark, and today I wanted to talk about how to build your own watercolor set. So these are my Windsor Newton, Cotman, they're sort of middle grade watercolor tubes, which I've used for quite a while straight out of the tube, but I wanted to put some kind of a kit together that I could take on the road with me, bringing all these great colors out in the field. But I didn't have the right equipment on me, so I just used what I had. I had this old Altoids tin, which it's the right size, and I could build a small set. This is a basic set of master's colors, which is Prussian blue, burnt sienna, and yellow ochre with some grays. And the white is actually, it's inside of a seltzer cap, which is a great, alternative to a typical watercolor pan. Those plastic little cubes that you see, those are watercolor pans. These are half pans. So I also wanted to build a gouache set, which is opaque watercolor, so I used the same setup, again, the seltzer cap. And now I have a traveling watercolor kit, a master set, and a little gouache set. Now to get these caps to stay in properly and the little half pans to stay in properly, otherwise they're going to move around, I just had this, these are little putty squares that I had in my toolbox, and they actually work really great, because you can just pull a little piece off right here and you stick it to the back of the cap, and once it gets stuck on there, you just press these into the tin, push it right down, and it'll stay put for as long as you want. As you can see, they're very durable. They don't fall off or anything, but you can just pull them off when you need to, pull the putty off, and you can swap those out if you want to change colors or add more colors or whatever. These have been two of my most indispensable little travel kits, and they fit just in your pocket. I can put a pocket brush in the space inside of there, and these have been great for me. But I did want to get a more professional set, so I did some research online. I came across these watercolor Confections from Prima Marketing. This is their Decadent Pies set. I have not used this set yet. This is a newer one. The Decadent Pies are great. They also have tropicals, they have classics, they have pastel dreams, and they have shimmering lights, which has like little shimmery bits in the paint. As you can see, the tin is just beautiful. Tins like this usually go for about $10. This whole set costs between $15 and $20 on Amazon. And you can see there's not only just all these colors and the color chart, but there's tons of space, for mixing colors here. Even under the tray there's mixing wells. So there's a lot of space here for mixing colors. Now, you don't need to mix all these colors if you don't want, because there's, so many variations of these muted colors. The Decadent Pies are just muted variations of like earthier tones. There's some metallic colors in here, which I don't use metallic colors, so I don't really have a need, so I can pull those out if I want. As you can see, these are really nice little tins, and the half pans just snap right in place. So once you take the wrappers off, and they package this really professionally. Once you take the wrappers off, you can get right to painting. I do like the little chart that comes with it. I don't like the fact that they give numbers instead of paint names, and there's no pigment information or light fastness warnings. The little ring on the back here is just to show you how it carries in the field if you're outside painting. But, having the light fastness isn't that important to me. I don't hang my work on the wall. Most of my work stays in a journal or in a book, or I scan it. So, I'm not worried about the sun fading my work. If you're worried about that, that might be a concern here. I like this set so much, I ended up picking up two more. I got the tropicals and the classics, and I'm very happy with all these. I'm actually thrilled with all three of these, and the three tins are beautiful. But I didn't want to lug around three tins with me, so I went on eBay and I found this awesome Chesterfield cigarette case from the 1940s or 50s. And it's a wonderful metal, keepsake. It's an old cigarette tin. I took all the colors from all three sets and I combined them, all the Prima Marketing watercolor confection paints. I just combined them into one set. This fits my little Vinci pocket brush here, as you can see, and this is I can just take this on the road, or I can use it at home. The only thing I need is water, and I do need a place to mix the paint, so I have these little plastic pallets that I can drag around with me. But I did want to have all these colors, you know, in one area. So if you look at these decadent pies, they're down in here, all the muted colors, but the tropicals are here. Got the decadent pies, the tropicals, and the classics all in one combined set. So for me, that's just like the best. I love this. And I did remove, you know, some of these are really bright colors, some of them are muted colors, and they're all mixed in together by color, as you can see. I did remove some of the metallics because I don't use metallics that much, and I put in some homemade colors as well. These, you know, because the Prima Marketing paints come in their own half pans, all I had to do was I took some double stick tape and some sheet magnets and just fixed those to the back, and they pop right into this metal tin and stay, you know, pretty strongly. I can tip this thing upside down, and I'm sure if I banged it really hard they'd fall out, but just tipping them upside down in general usage, these don't even budge. So I'm very pleased with this, and this has been my go-to watercolor set for quite some time. Now, I made a color chart just so I knew, and I renamed them to names that I'm familiar with over these ones here where, you know, again, these don't have names on them, they have numbers. So I think this one here is like number 29 or something. Let me see. There's no information on the packaging. So yeah, number 29. So they may have names for them, you know, just made up names or something, but as far as creating a proper color chart for myself, I needed names, so I would give them like, you know, yellow ochre or Prussian blue or something like that. But yeah, this has been a great little set for me, and I will continue to use this going forward. However, I did want something a little different, so we'll get to that in just a second. Love this tin though. This is like one of my favorite things when I'm painting. Alright, so now it's time for a little unboxing. I wanted to build a new watercolor set for myself using a higher grade, you know, watercolor paint. I was looking at some Daniel Smith paints and Schmincke paints, but they're really expensive. So instead I chose these M. Graham paints, which are made in America, and instead of being, the paint is bound with honey. Usually it's gum arabic, but you know, I don't really know what gum arabic is. It's the agent that binds the paint and keeps it painterly. I don't really know what that means. But anyway, I also ordered this this beautiful tin, which is exactly the same kind of tin, except for a little denting here, which is fine with me. I don't care about that. But this is the almost identical tin to the Watercolor Confections tin. It has the same style of the clip tray. It has the same, you know, mixing wells. The difference is this comes with full pans instead of half pans, and these full pans, if you look at it, the just the plastic itself is really durable and thick, so these aren't going to chip or break or anything. You know, I've got 12 full pans here, which is, you know, I don't have any full pan sets, and I was really dying to get my hands on one. And the Schmincke set that I've been looking at online is like $380 for a set of paints, and I'm like, I just can't afford that. The M. Graham paints, these sets here, the landscape set and the cityscape set, they have all the colors that I've been dying to get, but these were, I think, about $30 each for the sets, maybe $30 to $40 each, which, you know, that's not cheap. That's pretty expensive. But the tin cost about $10, and it came with the full pans. So I'm going to build this set. You know, I'm going to use the same method of putting the putty on the back. But in the long term, for what I am using this for, you know, it's short money if you're going to use it. And I am going to use this once it's set up. So I got all these pans lined up. And I'm going to push these down, tighten these clips up, so when I snap these in, there's going to be a pressure pushing them in there. And that's the problem, is if you don't put something sticky behind it, they slide around, as I was showing you before. Now I'm just going to set these up so they align properly and, you know, everything's balanced and even. because heaven forbid they're not, you know, balanced and even. It'll make me crazy later. But so I'm just pushing these down, making sure that putty's in place. And you can see I could fit that the pocket brush in there, even when it's open, and a regular full brush without any problems. So there's plenty of space. This Pentel water brush fits perfectly in there, and it closes up without any glitch. So I can put whatever brush I want. Yeah, you can see my Prussian blue that exploded in the store on me. I picked up 2 extra colors because I knew I was going to want those. But these sets are great, and I'm just going to set them up here and lay out how I want these paints, you know, to go into the palette. So I can refer back to my older palettes, you know, color palettes, and see how I laid those colors out. This is a Windsor Newton set that I have, and these were made from tubes as well. This has been my travel kit, my go-to travel kit prior, and I'm hoping this M. Graham set is going to just blow my mind and just be the go-to set for me to use from now on, until I can come across $300 or $400 to get the Schmincke paints. Now, the reason I'm opening them over a paper towel is because sometimes tubes tend to burst open. They're under pressure, so the paint can just squirt out like the Prussian blue that I have. You know, I'm just going to fill these up. This is cerulean blue, that was Pyrrole red, and Hansa yellow. This is that Prussian blue that blew up on me, and it's starting to do the same thing again. Kind of a mess to clean up, but you do want to keep your tubes clean. I highly recommend when you set this kind of thing up, have all this stuff in front of you. I have the Q-tips and the sponges and everything ready to go. So here I'm putting the violet in. Put in the Payne's gray, and this is the yellow ochre. Hooker's gray, Hooker's green, sap green, burnt sienna. Now you want to make sure you get plenty of paint in there because these will settle in. You can see that cerulean blue is already starting to settle in. So I go above the height of the pan, knowing that it's going to settle down. So these tubes will fill these pans maybe 2, almost 3 times. So there's, you know, you're getting your money's worth with these tubes and in a full pan set. So this is great. So I'm just going to store these back in their packages, and I'll put these in a safe place, and I'll hold on to these for later. And there it is. So now I'm going to make the color chart that I use as a reference. Just a spare piece of watercolor paper, and I'll trim it down to fit inside of this tray. Now, sometimes I'll glue these in or tape these into the tray. Other times I'll just leave them loose. This I'll probably just leave loose and mark off here where the pans are. That way I can get a proper chart. And just lay some color down. Now some of these colors are going to be very intense, I can already tell. And so I don't want them to be too dark. Like this Prussian blue looks really dark, so I had to lighten that up a little bit with some water. Same thing with the violet and the Payne's gray here. Payne's gray is nice because it dries to a cool gray color. But the Hooker's green, that was pretty dark. And the sienna, umber, and this is sepia, which I've never actually used, so I'm pretty excited to have this. It's a really beautiful brown color. And so just labeling each color here from the back of the sets. And you know, this is nothing major. This is just what I like to have, so I have a quick reference when I'm painting, and I know what the colors are going to look like when I'm painting. And just for me to look at them, I can mix based on, you know, just these colors, like the 3 primary colors there. Now see, I just checked that, and this green is sticking up too high, so is the yellow. Just mixing them in a little bit so they'll settle. What I'm going to do is put this paintbrush here. This will prop the whole thing open so it'll dry, you know, over a couple of days. So here's all my sets, and I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in building your own watercolor set, if you have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you on board. And keep creating. Thanks again. Take care.